In this quick video guide, I am going to show you how to create a custom session and how to create a session extension. The first demonstration will be to create a clinic custom session. I will navigate to my clinic in the My View multi-panel task pane. I will now choose the date that needs the custom session. The sessions for the selected date now appear. I will select Custom Session in the clinic's task pane on the left-hand side of the screen. The Define Custom Session window is now opened. Some of the mandatory fields on this window have been pre-populated. I will fill in the remaining mandatory fields, beginning with the start time. Now that all the mandatory fields are filled in, I will click the Add button to add the Define Custom Session to the grid below. The Define Clinic Custom Session has now been successfully added to the grid, so I will select the next button below to move on. The rules of the Define Custom Session will now need to be set, so I will click the next button below to move on. The newly defined custom session is pre-selected on the left-hand side of the screen. On the right-hand side, the rules for the session can be changed to your requirements. I will accept these preset rules and click the Finish button below. The newly defined custom session now shows on the clinic pegboard. I will now demonstrate how to create a session extension for your clinic. I will start by selecting Custom Session in the clinic's task pane on the left-hand side of the screen. The Define Custom Session dialog box opens and I will choose Session Extension. Then click the green arrow to move on. The Define Custom window now opens. All of the mandatory fields are pre-populated. I want to extend the entire session by 30 minutes. So, I will input 30 into the Extend Session by field. By extending the session by 30 minutes, it means I can have 2 additional slots at 15 minutes each. I will input the duration per slot as 15 minutes. Now that I have filled in all the necessary information, I will click the Add button to add the session extension to the grid below. The session extension is now added to the grid, so I will click the next button in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. The session extension now shows the individual slots that make up the extension of a full 30 minutes. I will select the next button at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen to move on. The Select Session to Apply Rules window now opens. The left-hand side of the screen shows the new slots that make up the extension. The first slot is selected by default. I will select the second slot, as it will also need to be added to the grid below. The right-hand side of the screen shows the rules to be applied to the slots. I will not need to change any of these settings, so I will click the Add button to add the session extension to the grid below. That is it. All done. The custom extension has now been created and the clinic will run for an additional 30 minutes with two 15-minute slots. I will now click the Finish button at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. On the clinic pegboard, you can now see that the clinic session has been extended by an additional 30 minutes.